See, here he is. Anyway, welcome to my sketchbook tour. I finished both of these. I finished this one 3 days ago, and I finished this one today. Well, it says the 29th, but not gonna lie, I finished this today on the 30th. So anyway, these are both finished. This is my trash notebook. First, about the books themselves. This was a free notebook that my mom gave me. She got it from like one of those business conventions. Yeah, a business convention. I don't even know. I don't remember what company it was, so I can't even really say, because I've decorated the living shit out of it. It used to have like a strap that went over and held it together, but that broke, both because of my cats chewing on it, and then also it's fucking chunky, this thing. And then it also had a bookmark that also broke because of my cats chewing on it. So that's nice. It was, the paper is not good quality, but the book itself is pretty nice quality, especially for it to just be like a free giveaway book at a random business convention. Anyway, I started it February of this year. And a lot of this will be like stuff that's pasted in, especially since the paper is like extremely thin and not good quality. And I call it my trash notebook for a reason. It's not here to look good. It's here for me to experiment and also like practice mixed media, because that's something I've really been interested in doing lately. Anyway, newspaper cutout, sticky notes. This was when I first got it. I was on vacation with my family. I don't even remember where we were. I think we were actually at the Queen Mary or something like that. This is an OC. She is a trans woman lion. I love her. She doesn't actually have a name, but that's basically her character. Here she is again. This is nobody in particular. Nobody in particular. Trans lion, and then two of my other characters that are kind of involved in the universe. This is actually the main character. His name is Poe. And then I don't know if this guy has a name. If this guy has a name, it's like one of those names I can never remember, and then so every time I try to think of a name for him, it's probably just like a different one. But Poe has existed for a long time. She's newer. He has existed for some time. And then this is Poe's mother. She's a raging alcoholic. And, yeah. I enjoy her as a character, but she fucking sucks as a person. This was just experimenting with color. I guess it's acrylic. This is a postcard I got from the Queen Mary. I actually spent the night because my parents know that I like it since it's haunted, and then they also wanted to go because it's like bougie as fuck. And then we went to a museum. God, what's it called? It's like a Latin American artist, like art museum. I'll find the name and I'll put it somewhere in the video. But I basically like did quick sketches while we were walking through. This was by far my favorite piece. It's called Bearded Lady by Naham Zenil, or, you know, if you want to say it how it was originally named, Mujer Barbara. This is basically like a queer queer art piece about basically feeling trans, or just other words like gender non-conforming, and how it interacts with the artist's like feeling a connection to being Latinx. This is a journal, like an art journal entry. And I did this a few times, but then I kind of just fell off. I really like doing it. It's basically I incorporate visual aspects of something I did that day or like an event that happened. And I basically just make art out of it. This was my very first protest that I went to. And this is like my parking ticket. It was in Los Angeles, so it was fucking crazy. And then I also incorporated like some stuff that happened to me another protest I went to. So I guess this wasn't just like one day. This was like an amalgamation of different protests. Here's doodles of my cat. And then it's hard to figure out what is actually the next page. This was a mixed media kind of experiment. I like wet paper and I kind of like balled it up, I guess, and glued it in. And then I went over with black acrylic paint. And then after all of that, I pasted a drawing on top of it. And then I painted the drawing. This is just a random doodle. I don't know. Plus size queen. This was another art journal. This was one of my not my very first, but like one of the hangouts that will go in the books for me when it comes to me and my friend. This is just, it helps me remember things, you know? Because I feel like I wouldn't remember this hangout. It would blend with all the other hangouts if I didn't do this. Because, you know what, I probably wouldn't even remember that we watched this fucking movie. I don't even remember what the fucking movie was called, but I remember everything about it. And I wouldn't ever remember this conversation either, I'm sure. Anyway, moving on. No one in particular, kind of a Medusa idea, I guess. No one in particular. Oh, this is a Dragon OC. That will come into play in this book. I have more about my Dragon OCs in there, like the conception of them. This one is Melanie. This is Comet and Jade. This is my little brother. He's 6, but he likes, I guess you could say his interests are more mature than they should be. He likes violent things. This is a menu from a restaurant I went to, and this is my stepdad. He ordered, I don't even fucking remember what alcoholic drink he ordered. It was like a margarita or something, and they had it in this like huge fucking cup. It was like this big, I swear. And we started calling it the pimp cup. So I drew him in his pimp cup with the restaurant crayons. This is a random, I don't know why I did this, DID faker bingo. Hedwig, this is meant to be sarcastic, of course. I watched Hedwig and the Angry Inch with my friend. I doodled like all of these throughout watching the movie. And then this I'm pretty sure was after. And this is when I went to Disneyland with my family. At Disneyland, I did these doodles, just like life drawings of like this random guy with a killer outfit, I might add. My brother, this was also at Disneyland. This is an OC. I don't like this one, but it's Dahlia. She's a witch. This is my mom and my niece. And this is just random doodles. This is like sort of a journal, but it's only like this one page right here. I think like I sketched it and then I never finished it, so I just like went back and colored it. This, I don't know what's going on with this. Oh, this actually was an idea for a painting I ended up doing on canvas. I think this might have been like the very first doodle that sort of inspired it. I don't know, I'll show the painting on screen. I think I could do the idea a lot better, personally, but that was the finished piece. This is another journal about a protest. Me and my friend were standing on the side of a road at this intersection doing a protest, and this huge 3-car accident happened literally like feet away from us. Like, I was standing on the sidewalk right here, and this is where the crash happened. But stay safe, guys. Oh, and this also happened at the same fucking protest because the protest dissolved, you know, when the crash happened, because we wanted to let emergency services do their job, of course. But then this was sort of happening after it, like, while the protest was already ending, Trump supporters started just showing up, and chaos ensued. Oh my god, guys. This is, I think I had just gotten a new thing of acrylic markers from like a Joann's sale when they were going out of business. This is, I found some new music from a Latina artist, Desi, and I really liked some of her songs. This has no meaning really, it's just acrylic marker and acrylic paint under it. The idea behind this, and this was mostly actually just like random drawings, doodles I did at work that I wanted to paste in because I didn't want to just throw them away. But the idea was sort of like the progression of dementia and how language goes away, but you still feel things so vividly, and like your memory is fucked up too. And I don't know what it's a feeling that's so hard to put into words, but I was trying to evoke that. We hold in different places, past and now, question mark. And this is actually a really old family photo, but we don't talk about Bruno. This is my ex and me. And this is one of my residents, more work doodles. This was actually in my Spanish class, the one that was in person. I regret taking clase de Español 2 asynchronously. It is not fun trying to teach yourself another language. This is when my birthday happened. Happy birthday to me. I turned 20. And I went to my hometown because my aunt has a sick-ass pool, and so I could celebrate with my family, obviously. My Dragon OCs again. Comment, Melanie. This is one of my coworkers. She doodles little things on... She works in the kitchen. She doodles little things on, like, my employee meal orders. And I heart her, platonically / I don't know what you call a work relationship. This was sort of brainstorming about one of my stories. This was when I was on a plane to go visit my mother. This was while I was visiting my mother. We were like celebrating my niece's birthdays. So this is my brother again. I don't know why there's 2 drawings of him in this book. We were at Sky Zone. This is my niece. And my sister-in-law, sort of, like, it was based off of her, but then she wheeled away before I got done. This was based off of my younger niece, but then she like wasn't there the whole time. This is 2 of my OCs. He's a vampire, she's a werewolf, and they fall in love, and that's the crux of the story. It's just like really silly, and I love them. She is like really extroverted and insane, and he is just so autistic and neutral looking to everything, like has no perception of tone. And he's like, man, she's so pretty, but like not even like noticing her very over like she's head over heels over him, and he doesn't know because he's too autistic to tell. Anyway, I went to Hot Dog on a Stick and I got like a large drink, and I was thinking it would be so funny. You know how goofy the Hot Dog on a Stick uniforms are? He works at a gas station in the actual story, but I was like, how goofy would it be if he had to wear like this silly little outfit at his job, and he just like worked at Corn Dog on a Stick, and she like ate a copious amount of corn dogs just so she could go and order it from him and talk to him. Anyway, more stuff about the werewolves. This was I don't know what I was thinking about with this. I kind of just also wanted to draw gore. But this is the werewolves kind of like getting back at somebody. This is her brother. And he is also a werewolf. Duh. And this was like, okay, so when I went to Vegas to visit my mother, me, my brother, and my sister-in-law also went to, like, you know, the fun part of Vegas that young adults like to go to. And we gambled exactly once with $20. And you know what my sister-in-law won from putting in $20? 66 cents. And we never actually vouched it, but I did keep the vouch ticket thing. And I thought it would just be silly to draw him. I need to put names to faces, honestly. Draw him thinking that he is like winning big, and he's so good at gambling when he's really not. This is sort of an environment idea for the gas station that God, I need to remember his fucking name, works at, the vampire guy. This is cats. Some cats based off of my cats. It's all shiny because I use the metallic watercolors. This is from like the packaging. A Starbucks gift card came in, and I kind of just drew a person based off of the logo. These are also characters in the werewolf vampire story. He was the one that I drew getting mutilated by the wolves, but now I'm not very certain of his place in the story. I'm thinking that perhaps there could be another species of like monster, like not completely human kind of guys that are like living in normal society, and they have to hide from the normies, but they see each other and they clock each other, you know? Anyway, this is another werewolf, like one of the sisters. And this is the very last page. I got like a little gift from work, and this is the tag that came on it. And so I drew the little turtle, and it was really low effort. I was like, I really want to be done. So that's basically it for this book. There's nothing right here. And this is my one and only Trump dollar that I got from a Christian passing them out after a protest. Yeah, look at the detail. Yeah, I have no words. And if you scan this QR code, you're gonna see stuff about abortion. It's actually double-sided. So you see the American abortion Holocaust because, yes, let's compare the Holocaust to abortion. That's nice. Federally sanctioned child sacrifice, because that's what it is. And this is my favorite side, actually. So here we see Trump as an aborted baby because, you know, it could have been him. It could have been our one and only God that got aborted before he could do whatever he's doing right now. 75 million murdered. So, yeah, that's my Trump dollar. So funny, so funny. And this is my little gallery of, like, the doodles I saved from my coworker, Darlene, that makes little doodles for me. And I don't have anything in my pocket anymore, but I did create a little pocket out of an envelope from when I got my glasses from Target. This is the back cover. Done with acrylic markers, and this is the front cover done with acrylic paints, and then like I coated it with what's it called? I forgot what it's called. That glue that also coats things. Oh, Mod Podge, that's what it's called. This is the second book. This is a notebook from Paper Blanks. It's 144 pages. It's Safavid. I don't want to say it wrong, but Safavid binding art. It's a very nice notebook, and honestly, I could have kept it in better condition, But for one, I've had it for a while, and then secondly, like, I don't treat my sketchbooks very kindly. I use them and bruise them. So here we have the very first drawing I did. This was completely blank until I finished the book. And yes, I started it at the beginning of last year. It's been like, what, a year and a half? This is because, one, I didn't draw consistently in this book, and two, oh, there's a little fluff. Sorry, distracted. This book has 144 pages in it. So, like, yeah, it's not taking a couple of months to fill this thing to the brim unless I put, like, zero effort, and I'm not really about that. I don't pressure myself when it comes to sketchbooks, but I also like filling it to, like, its fullest extent and not, like, wasting, you know? I don't know if that makes sense. But this is basically a redraw of the very first drawing I did that I just finished, like, this afternoon. So, this is, like, the updated version, I guess. It definitely is more vibrant than this one, and I used the same supplies, minus using a little bit of acrylic marker for the nose ring and the eyes. However, I did have acrylic markers available to me at the start of this, so, like, I totally could have taken advantage of that. I just didn't, so it's also still a skill issue. Welcome to the sketchbook. This guy I also redraw at the end because it took me so goddamn long to finish this book. This is one of my OCs. He also does not have a fucking name. Part of this issue is that I never talk about them to people. I never talk about my OCs. So unless I'm, like, writing shit down, I don't really need to name them. And most of them do technically have names. I just don't use them enough to remember them. This is Tori. She's part of the witch saga. He's also part of her universe. Some random doodles, nobody in particular. Starts off kind of sad. These are also two OCs from a completely different story that I made in, like, middle school. I made, like, a complete ass comic that was, like, over 100 pages, I think, about these two. This is a furry design I was thinking about. Another furry design. Wednesday with a pixie cut because true queen. Some weird creatures that I had in my head. Furry design. Avatar: The Last Airbender. I don't know where this random thought came from, but I love that show. I was probably rewatching it, actually. Random lady. Henri. He's, I don't know, is he an OC? But he's also my stuffed animal. So, I don't know. This is Henri. He's a frog. This is, like, the conception of one of the OCs from the Witch Saga. I don't know why I'm calling it the Witch Saga, but it's easier to call it that. She's Tori's, like, roommate and also bestie. More furry shit. Fuck ass lemon. My cat Beaker. This was my ex's cat that he low-key abused, but I still love her. I feel bad for her. Love you forever, Nala. Vent art. Cat doodle. This was an online friend I made, and she was so drawable that I just kept drawing her. See, here she is again. Some warrior cats. Tori, Dahlia. I was thinking about, like, outfits or, like, making it more modern feeling. I didn't end up liking this, and it isn't the sort of, like, style of their society, but I guess it could count as AU girlies. This is the start of my Dragon OCs. This has also just been art, so don't pay attention to that. This was the doodle that started it all. I was like, what if I had dragons, but they were kind of like My Little Ponies, but then they were also, like, based off of different things. Because, like, oh god, don't look at this one. I also forgot her wings. It's so bad. But she's a watermelon. He's a cantaloupe. This is Lou. This is Melanie. And then there's like different types of dragons that basically have different abilities. Theirs are related to nature. Random doodles. Random doodles. This is because I was watching Hannibal. I thought this was going to be more dragon art, but we'll discontinue the dragon talk. But there will be more. Trust. My friend that's really drawable again. Random doodle. Here's another dragon character. She lives like in the underground, sort of community, town, whatever you want to call it, Jade. And basically they have rock, metal, magma, like mineral related dragons. Stuff like that. And then there's the nature-esque of the other ones. And then there's also like space dragons. And I ended up taking away his wings because I thought that it would be like a special trait for the space dragons to not have wings. And because, you know, there's no gravity in space. So they're just kind of like fucking zoom around like Superman. So this is Comet. And this also gave me an idea for like sort of the overarching plot. He basically crashes on Earth, hence the name Comet. And he has amnesia. He doesn't fucking remember anything. And the Earth dragons, they don't really know that the space dragons actually exist. They're sort of like folk legend. But when he crashes down, Melanie and Lou and eventually Jade like team up with him, and they're like trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. And that's kind of like the overarching idea that I had. Dragon and a pumpkin. It was Halloween time. Dahlia. I don't remember the significance of this, but it was some kind of design. This is another fucking OC. God, I have too many OCs. But he is an alien. And I guess I'll just leave it at that. This is another character from the same alien society. I don't remember the significance of him either, but I don't know. He looks kind of like a zombie. This was just for fun. Random doodle. Vents. Random. I was also reading Red Dragon, which is part of the Hannibal series. It's the first book in the Hannibal series. This is a random OC idea. We heart Brutus in this house. We love you, Brutus. Some trans art because I felt like it. I don't know. This is sort of an OC, but I think I was just doodling. Plus size art. I like this guy. He has no meaning whatsoever, but it was fun to draw. This guy does not have meaning either. Just random. All of this is just random. I was reading a book. God, I don't know if I'm going to remember what it's called, but it was basically like 1800s treasure hunting type shit with female main characters. Slay. This was just a random doodle, but then it reminded me of Betty Boop, so I drew Betty Boop. OC. That has not much significance. Him again. This was practicing like portraiture of my families because I was making portraits of everyone for Christmas. This is when I got my acrylic paints. This is sort of when I started experimenting and like actually using acrylic paints because I hadn't really I hadn't used acrylic paint since like, I don't know, high school, middle school. So this was me finally getting acrylic paints and using them. And I actually low-key ended up liking acrylic paints. Fucking Finding Dory was on, and I was like, what if Dory was a human? And then I hated the design. This is something I drew when I visited my dad's grave, because what else are you gonna draw when you're visiting your father's grave? This is Tori. Here I drew Elphaba and Jafar from Wicked and Twisted. because like they're kind of like the same trope, and I know that Twisted, which is a musical from Star Kid, if you don't know what it is, they're kind of the same trope, and I know that they reference Wicked, but they reference a lot of things in Twisted. I just fucking love this musical, and I love this musical too, and I think that they should be friends, except she is much stronger of a personality than he is. My OCs that I made a comic about in middle school, I think I was like trying to revamp the comic, but then like I kind of just fell off, which is what happened with pretty much every project I try to start. My furry OCs in the same universe I was talking about earlier with Poe and the trans woman lion. This is the mother again. This is like their neighbor in the apartment complex, Mr. Shaw. This is Poe. This is his little brother X. This is kind of just a Christmas doodle. Doodles. I was thinking about a character, but I think I'm gonna like can this character and make him something completely different for plot purposes. This is Doodles when Step Family was visiting for dinner, so I didn't have to socially interact. This is kind of life drawings, I guess you could say. This is my stepdad's brother and my little brother and my stepdad and my mom. This is an OC from the Witch Saga. He is a trans boy witch, and I love him. This is the fish boy from the very beginning. Well, at least the species I was trying to figure out, because I realized that this one kind of like lackluster, boring, no thought design, but then also like in terms of evolution, it didn't make as much sense. So I decided that their hair would be less like hair and more like coral. And then also they have gills that do look like top surgery scars, which is like slay, but random. This is the fish boy's girl, but I completely redesigned them later on this book, and now I fucking love their designs. But this is still like pondering. This is sort of a piece about dementia, I guess. I don't know, my job makes me think of that kind of stuff a lot. I work in memory care as a caregiver. This is Witch Saga OC's roommate, girly, and trans boy witch. They are in love. Random character idea for Witch Saga, but I haven't really solidified, and I don't know if I need him plot-wise. Random doodles, a lot of them are pasted in work doodles. My cats, this is when I got my first kitten, Violet. And my alien OCs, doodles. This is when I was on my birthday trip, so you can see kind of the intersection because I was working in these books simultaneously. So we're up to like July this year by now. Random, not gonna lie, random. My alien OCs again. I was really thinking about it because I was also talking to my friend and we were thinking about like we kind of want to do a D&D campaign, but also we want it to be like kind of like a story that we create together, you know? And I was like, wait, what if we use this like universe I have? And this was also part of that. Like at first it was just pen doodles when I was sitting with him of like, oh, these are the two like species. But I finished it later. My dragon OCs, Lou, Comet, Jade, Melanie. And at the very beginning of this book, I did my first design idea for Symphony, the witch roommate girly, and I drew her with crutches because I did want her to use crutches. And then after that drawing, I just fucking forgot about the entire crutch thing. And I drew her so many goddamn times after that, just without the crutches, like freeballing it, like not needing the crutches. So I do want to keep the crutches, but also I realized that I don't want to. This is me being lazy, guys. This is me being lazy. Me being lazy. I don't want to draw the crutches every single time I draw her. So I'm thinking that she has a condition that flares up, and then like she can sort of treat it with magic sometimes. But when she flares up, she does need the crutches, and she uses her crutches, especially when she doesn't have access to the magic potions that like help her sort of manage her condition. I haven't decided what her condition is going to be, if it's going to be like a real life condition that I just put into this fictional world, or if I'm going to design it around the lore of this world specifically and sort of just like reference real life conditions. I don't know yet, but she is disabled. She has a condition that flares up every now and then. This is Dahlia. I was thinking of like a fighting outfit because she is a princess, but she has like the strict ass like parents that demand so much of her. And one of her moms, she has like lesbian queen moms, because I wanted to make this world really queer. Can you blame me? One of her moms is like, she wants her to be very athletic and fend for herself and be a fighter, you know, very tough. And so she makes her do all of this like training and stuff like that. And so I was kind of brainstorming a training outfit, but I'm not completely sold on this. I think I need to change the shirt situation a little bit. I want like the muscle tee action going on, if you know what I mean. This is Tori, and then I was kind of doodling an idea for what her mom might look like. Tori grew up on a farm, and her mom is just like this humble little farmer lady. This is also from the Witch Saga universe. They are a goblin. Their name is Tallulah, and I kind of love them, even though this doesn't really look like them because I didn't have a preference at the time. This is also when I got new acrylic markers and like new colored like multicolor pen. So I was testing out those. This was a random daydream I had about like a future God, I can't fucking speak. A future dystopian world, I guess you could say. And of course both of the main characters are trans because I can't fucking help myself, can I? And she ended up looking a lot like Zendaya, so I guess trans Zendaya. Anyway, the idea is more like everything is polluted, and technology is really advanced, but also, you know, capitalism, so the majority of society is like having to try and cope in this really fucking polluted, hot desert like society where crops are a lot harder to farm, so now food is also very scarce, or at least fresh food. So it's kind of about that, like that hypothetical future I was having a daydream about. Some cats with acrylic markers. This is where I redesigned Fishboy and Wifey. Now, they own a cabin, and that is how I'm going to include them in the plot, because otherwise they're kind of just there. Anyway, when Tori and Dahlia go on their kind of adventure together, they need to like stay at a cabin in between, you know. This is like the first cabin they've seen 4 miles and days of travel, so they're like gross from just sleeping on the floor on the ground, I mean, surrounded by wilderness and not protected whatsoever. These two have like sort of a cabin on like the side of a lake slash pond, and they're both intersex, by the way, because, you know, gotta have the rep, and that's why she is just fucking slaying it. I love her with her beard and her everything. I love her. I don't think she has a name, and neither does he really. Anyway, they're like kind of an interracial couple, and they're also like, they find common ground on the fact that they're intersex and they really want children, but they like both cannot have children due to being intersex. And so I don't know, they're married, and I also decided to make them older because I realized that a lot of my characters end up being like young adults, that sort of age range. So I wanted to have some more variety, and I actually liked them as like a character idea better, like being an older middle-aged couple that has always wanted kids, but they really just have each other, so they just fuck around with each other. And she's always like making little clothes for him, even though he hates wearing clothes because he's a fish and he like, you know, likes to be in the water instead. Well, technically he's an amphibian, but you know, that's that's not relevant, guys. That's not relevant. Some cat doodles. We're getting towards the end. My dragon OCs again. This is part of the like the werewolf OC world. So that guy that I haven't decided what he's gonna be yet, and then the brother, and they have like sort of a rivalry. They roughhouse and get into fights and stuff. This is sort of like transformation doodle ideas for the werewolves. This is the main girly and sort of her transformation. This is her brother and sort of his transformation. And not the best drawing, or like, and I don't know if I'm gonna keep their animalistic designs like that. They're meant to be more of like a coyote type of vibe, or possibly I might even make them more of like domesticated dogs type of werewolves, because you know, if they're civilized people, you would think that their forms would like sort of match like how wild wolves slowly become dogs because they get domesticated. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but hopefully that makes sense. This is the very last page, and this is sort of a play on the very first page. It's not a direct redraw because the idea has completely shifted from just like cute little fish boy to like fully fledged characters. Anyway, I wanted to draw them one last time. Oh, you're still here? Fucking old man, cranky ass bitch. And she's just a doll. Come back soon because she wants you to come to her cabin. She wants you to live there and she wants to cook for you. Anyway, that is it. There's random doodles. There's nothing in this pocket, and I don't think I ever even kept anything in there, which is kind of sad because this is a nice built-in pocket. I didn't even have to make it. Anyway, those are my sketchbooks. And now I get to start a new one, which is simultaneously sad and exciting because I do like having stuff I can flip through and look back on in the same book with me, especially when it includes like references so I can redraw the same characters over and over again when their design is a bit more complicated or I don't really remember the full design. Anyway, these are my sketchbooks. Thank you for tuning in. If you did actually tune in, I love talking about my ideas, and yeah, maybe I might even film me starting my new sketchbook when I decide which blank book I want to occupy next. Anyway, thank you. Bye-bye.